Okay, this is an interesting video. It's an interesting experience. I've actually had my first bad experience with DMT. When I say bad, I mean like a bad trip, like a scary one. And because all the other ones may have been weird or may have been a little bit scary, just because it took me by surprise. This was a whole different type of trip, though. It was weird. It happened twice, actually. The first time I did it, it wasn't as bad, but it was still that distinctly different type of trip feeling. So it's technically happened twice, but I'll tell you about the first. I'll tell you about both of them. But the most recent one just happened like 4 or 5 days ago. I was using a new technique that I'm using now with the Yokan. I'm taking the top off the Yokan and putting a glass tube just right over the coils, and I'm smoking it like, burning it 3 seconds on, pause, 2 seconds, cool, 3 on, 2 off, 3 on, 2 off. But while I'm doing that, instead of continuously just sucking, I'm only sucking, and when I give it the time to cool, when I give it the 2 seconds off, I stop sucking. I don't, I don't keep sucking, right? So what I'm doing is it's just full, the tube's filling up with like concentrated vape. And then when I stop sucking, right, it's the vape still in the tube. So then I start sucking again, and then more vape comes in. So it's just a constant stream of thick vape. This is what's caused, this could be what caused the bad trip. Maybe it's just too much. But I am able to break through in one hit and less than 0.05 every time. But it's probably too much. Anyway, look for my other video on that. I went into great detail about the technique. If you don't understand what I'm doing, you should probably do it anyway, because it's if you're trying to get a breakthrough in one hit, that's the way to do it. But it's too strong in my opinion. So look for the other video so I don't waste the time on this one. So that's what I did. And before I even, before I even finished the first hit, we're talking, I still had easily half my lungs still left. The ringing in the ears, came from the sides, and that high pitched ringing, and that's when I know it's about to come, and I get like this rush of like chill at my spine. I just kept doing it. I kept doing it until like I couldn't really stand anymore, and I kind of got a little nervous because I started to get kind of weird, like feeling weird, like I was gonna like fucking fall down or get like abducted by aliens or something weird. And so I stopped, right? Before I even finished, I stopped, and I just held my breath, right? But you got to remember, if you're doing with that technique, I've been holding my breath probably for a good 20 or 30 seconds anyway. But for some reason, the way you do that, I can hold my breath a lot longer anyway. So I jumped in the bed. I was at a hotel, right? And I had like 45 minutes to check out. And I wanted to get this. I wanted to have do some DMT before I left, because it's hard for me to do it where I live. Because it's hard for me to like be absolute certain no one's gonna fuck with me for a good 20 minutes, right? The hotel, I can be pretty much absolute certain. So I was a little bit of rush, but I jumped on the bed with my lungs still full, laid down, and usually like when you close your eyes, or when I do, kind of go to that what people call like the waiting room. There's kind of like an area, but there's a certain feeling about it too, right? This was like kind of like more anxiety, but the waiting room, if you want to call it that I usually see, or it's usually very similar. There's also a certain type of feeling, actually a good feeling. Not this time. The waiting room, if you want to call it that, was it looked different. It looked more kind of primitive, I guess. It wasn't as interesting looking. It wasn't as fanciful. It wasn't as psychedelic. It was more like a darkish gray room, and it had like kind of like these red squares, like a grid, right? And then there was something back there moving, and I couldn't see what it was, though. I couldn't make it out, but it gave me this like really weird feeling in my chest. I don't know. It was just a distinctly different type. I mean, they've all been a little bit different, but this one was distinctly different in that way, and it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't really painful, but it was anxiety provoking. And then I fucking let it out, and I started to breathe, and I'm keeping my eyes closed because I'm hoping to see these visuals and these, basically blast off somewhere, right? Like I have before, and I'm not. Instead, that waiting room is just getting weirder, right? But it's not getting weird in like a weird, cool way. It's getting weird in like it's a fucking airplane. This is a problem with doing videos outside. Okay, but so I basically I opened my eyes, right, and all of a sudden it was like I was in this hotel, right, and I'd been there all night. I opened my eyes, and the bed was, the whole hotel looked completely different, right? I had felt like I had just been like in Star Trek, like fucking transported somewhere else. The bed, for one, was real fucking long. Like, it wasn't the bed that I sat in, right? It was like fucking twice as long. Like it was like twice as long as my body. Like, depth perception was fucking like stretched out like that. And I got up, right? And I had a little hard time getting up because it was like kind of like things were kind of just getting really weird, right? And it was like, but now I'm kind of scared and I'm like, fuck. Here's where it got weirder though. Everything, when I got up and I looked around, the whole counters of the hotel, like the desk and all that shit, looked completely different. One, it was animated. It was like, it looked kind of like clouds like in, like, say, Super Mario Brother or something, like in Cloud City, or I fucking can't explain it, but it was like everything would look like kind of puffy and like clouds. It was weird. It was like, I was like, what the fuck, right? And I'm looking around, and then I would look back at them, and the cloud thing kind of stopped after a while, after like 30 seconds or maybe even less. And I was playing some music, and I must have been out, or like, it's hard to say because I started with one song and I didn't think I spent 5 minutes holding my breath, but for some reason I must have like kind of like disassociated, because now a whole different song's playing on my cell phone, but I couldn't fucking tell where the music was coming from. I couldn't see my phone, and it's really weird because it was like you could usually hear where it's coming from. The sound was coming from everywhere. I couldn't tell where it was coming from, and it was scaring me because eventually I found the phone. It was in my back pocket, but in my mind, the music was going from everywhere. Here's where it got creepy, though. I started looking around, and I didn't know I didn't know where I was. I was like totally disassociated from what was going on. I didn't realize this was my hotel. I knew that it was like a foreign room, but I looked at my bags that were there, right? They were my bags, but they didn't look like my bags. So at the time when I'm tripping, right, I don't know where I am. I can't figure out where this fucking music's coming from. It's loud, right? And these bags and shit, they weren't mine. And so they were, but I didn't think they were. So I'm awake and I'm kind of conscious. I'm staring at myself in the mirror, and it's weird because it looks like I'm like really dirty. Like, looks like I have like, I don't know, like if you're like rolling around like working on your car or something, like a dark, like, look like not grease but grime kind of on my face, kind of like Rambo or something like that. But I looked really strange. It was weird, and I don't know. Looked like I was in Vietnam in the mud or something. I don't know. It was weird, but it tripped me out. I didn't know where I was, and the bags and shit weren't mine. They didn't look like my bags. They looked totally different. I'm looking around, and I see, well, what I know was the bathroom door now. I see another door, and I hear people talking, right? And I can't tell where it's coming from. I can hear them on top of that. And what they were saying was kind of fucked up and frightening. They were saying something like, shit, he's never gonna get out of this. He's never gonna do it. Why did he just do it again? Doesn't he even realize what he's doing? And they're saying shit like that. It was like they were commenting, like they were observing me, which was tripping me the fuck out, right? And now, I mean, I'm getting scared at this point, and they were saying like, geez, he's never gonna get out of this. If he's just gonna keep going in a circle. He can't. He's stuck. He can't find his way out, right? He's just gonna keep doing this over and over. He's gonna keep doing this. And I'm thinking to myself, and that's kind of tying in with like, where the fuck am I? I felt like I had just been transported and put somewhere else. I never saw anybody, right? But there was more than one voice. There was like 2 or 3 different. One was a female, and I think the 2 others were male voices. And it was like they were observing me, and they were basically saying, he's never going to get out. Why doesn't he just stop? Why doesn't he just stop? If he just stops this, it'll end. And then, like they're talking, like like I shouldn't be hearing them, but I can hear them. Man, that was scary, because it was like I wanted to open that bathroom door, but I didn't know if it was. I didn't think it was a bathroom door, and I was scared what was going to be behind there. And so I just kind of started walking around in circles in the small hotel room, and I started looking at the walls. Really good visuals though on the walls. Like the walls kind of have like wallpaper, but it was like kind of like with acid, it's just kind of like breathing and moving, like swaying a little bit. It was really cool. And that's actually what calmed me down, is when I started just focusing on the visuals of the wall, and I stopped like looking around at shit, and I stopped trying to figure out where I was, and I just focused on the visuals of that wall. And I kept telling myself, you're just tripping, you're just having a bad trip. But I just focused on the visuals, and I'm just like, and then I kind of like, I'm looking at the clock, but I didn't know what time it was. Nothing made sense. It was like if I had amnesia. It was like, like in the movies where somebody has amnesia, and they wake up somewhere and they don't know where the fuck they are or who they are. That's kind of what it was. I wasn't even sure who I was, to tell you the truth. I mean, I had a little bit better idea of who I was, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know that I just smoked DMT either. I started to after about 2 or 3 minutes. I started to, right? Because I'm probably, the peak's probably ending, but so it slowly came back. Oh fuck, this is my hotel. Okay, I did just smoke DMT. And it was just like, holy shit. That was scary. That was scary, and I contributed to the new technique I'm using. I think it's too much. I think I need to either mix it with something or mix it with more air. I think just doing it concentrate like that it's too much for me, or I'm just not used to it. But it was just weird. It was a different type of trip, and it's the one that I had before that. Basically, I did it the same technique. It was the first time I ever used that technique, right? And I remember that waiting room was different. I tried to snap out of it because I got scared because it was a different type of waiting room, and I didn't like it, and it caused anxiety immediately. And when I was in my office, this is where I usually make my videos, and it's actually it's a kitchen pantry that's been converted. It's really small, right? And when I opened my eyes, I didn't know where I was either. Again, it disassociated me, and I didn't know what just happened. I did realize that I had taken a hit, but it was out of the Yokan, right? But I dropped it. I thought I dropped it. I actually didn't. But for some reason, I thought I dropped the Yokan when I stood up, and I thought it was like a pipe, and I thought I was lighting something, and I thought I fucking dropped something that was on fire. And the next thing I saw fucking like little explosions and flames running up around me, like not my body, but like around the walls and shit. And that scared me so much I actually kind of yelled. I yelled out. I remember when I yelled out, that kind of startled me too. So I was only like maybe half consciousness. But yeah, basically I thought I caught myself on fire. I know the religious people, Christians watching this, will be like, "Ha ha! I told you, look, fucking hell." No, felt like it. No, I mean I don't know, but no, no, it wasn't anything like that. I mean, you could relate it to that, but I don't. I relate it to could have been whatever, right? But yeah, I thought I caught myself on fire. I thought the room was on fire. That was pretty scary too, but not as scary as the second one. The hotel was even worse because the hotel was much more real. And see, that's the weird thing. I've been on some pretty fucking heavy doses of LSD, and even the 30 hits though, even though that was right up there with the DMT as far as the craziest shit that I've ever seen, like just shit that, but for some reason, I still knew when I was with the high doses of LSD, I still know that I still kind of know, I know that's a hallucination. I know that's not real. Like even in the video, I said, I wasn't really scared because I knew it was just a drug. That's what I meant by it. I actually was scared, but I was scared for a different reason. I was scared on the LSD because I thought I might not ever come back, and I thought maybe I'm going to die. That's what scared me, not the hallucination so much. But the DMT was different because, one, I didn't know, I didn't realize I had just done DMT. Two, I didn't know that I was high. Like I didn't know what was going on around me looked real, and in my mind it was real. That's what made it so scary. So it's interesting I'd like to understand why that happened. I'll save it. I'll make another video about it, and I'll sit down and speculate as to why I think this is happening. The last 2 times I did it, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the technique. I think I'm doing too much in the way that I'm doing it, but you never know. I mean, I'll save that for another video. This one's really long, but that was my bad experience on DMT. The hotel room one was fucking terrifying. Thank God it only lasted for 5-10 minutes. It had to last for 10 minutes, or whatever. It's 5 to 10 minutes. Who cares? You don't even know. I don't even know because I mean, I know I still checked out of the hotel on time, so I know that it didn't last that long. It was under 10 minutes, but it felt like it was for eternity, and I really thought I was in like a science experiment because I had those fucking voices saying like, "Oh, he's never gonna get out of this. He's just gonna keep repeating himself. He's never gonna find his way out." I was like, oh fuck, what's going on? Scary shit.